Okay, in this video, we are 3D mapping everything. We're doing a scan of the tunnel, the bunker, the garage, see where it sits in conjunction with the house, the garden, the shed, the whole lot. We are mapping this underground terrain and suburban network which I'm creating at this house. Right, this video is sponsored by Incogni. I have to get that in at the start. And thank you to everyone that has ordered some Furze Mining Company tees. I've got a batch here. These bad boys, link in the description, ColinFurze.com of course. And of course, thank you to everybody that's ordered both the t-shirt and the mug. I've got the signed Christmas card. There's not many of these left now. You've probably got a day or two where you can order these and still get them in time for Christmas. But there's not many cards left now because obviously signing cards is not going to get much tunneling done, is it? So I've had to put a limit on that. Right, links for that. So anyway, Colin, scanning.
What's happening today then, Colin? It's Monday.
Well, funny you should ask. We've actually got two guys coming down here today to scan this back wall because I'm going to get it 3D printed out of rock. No, I'm not getting it 3D printed out of rock. I'm getting the rock face 3D printed because you know I was going on about this window I wanted. Well, didn't matter how you look at that, I thought it's always going to be problems. You've either got to structurally put a beam above it, and then if any moisture comes out of it, whether you have glass, resin, all these things just seem a bit problematic. So I thought, let's leave the room intact, and then we'll have a little recess, and then we can print this exact rock face and then put it in the recess. So they're going to come and scan it, which will turn it into an STL file or something like that, for somebody to print, and then potentially somebody to paint. And one of those somebodies might be you, but we'll talk about that in a bit because I might need your hand because they're scanning it, but I don't know who's printing it and I don't know who's going to paint it. So if you think that you're an artist who can come and paint 3D printed stuff, start thinking about it. Right, but I need to get rid of this strap because when he scans it, we don't want a strap in the file. Get rid of that. And then let's tuck this one. Actually, let's tuck it all here.
Dripping. It's dripping.
Oh, it's dripping everywhere.
No.
I mean, it's not that bad down there.
No.
Oh, look.
It's turned cold. There's a bit of a condensation issue up here.
Be glad when we've got some concrete on top of it, and then that won't happen then.
Yeah.
Right, that's that. Let's move all this out of the way.
So, truth. How much truth do you want? Because if I was doing this and he was here, then I'm conflicted already.
Right.
Because, well, that bit's truth. That's the height it is, directly behind the wall. If you took away the concrete, that would be it, and you'd see.
It would be nice. That's what I'd like to do.
But it'd be much easier to do that bit there.
Because that bit's flatter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this will all come down to the printing and how much they can, because obviously that's got a lot of undercut in it.
Yeah.
So you'd have to mess with that, wouldn't you, afterwards? Or you might get the odd drip on your head. Whereas that, you wouldn't. And also like that bit there is quite nice. And actually the colour and texture of that is also quite nice.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's a shame really that that's how the rock came out, if you know what I mean, but obviously the lower you get, as you'll know, they come out in bigger chunks.
Yeah.
Whereas the top bits you can just scrape the digger and it will come off in a straighter bit, but once you get down to this bit here, they just, it comes out in a massive wedge.
Yeah.
What's it about?
This is going off. It'll be. This is him. He's inherently. There's a problem. You'll lose him down it.
Yeah.
It's like a little dog. He'll just go off down a. There's a cave. There's a hole.
It's a shame we haven't found a massive cave that would have saved us a lot of digging.
You don't want to know.
So in terms of truth, it would be nice to keep it as it is, but I do accept the fact that that's probably not going to happen because it's not the best bit of wall, if you know what I mean.
Your window can only go.
So deep, yeah, because if we go too much deeper, because obviously it's got to have all the rebar at the back of it.
Yeah.
So if we go too much deeper, then we need to dig out more.
Yeah.
That's why I thought if when you get your scan, if whoever's working on the 3D can somehow pull it so it still looks like it from the front, but actually that bit's not so deep as it is in reality.
Yeah, you can scale it.
But doesn't mess with any of the bits, if you know what I mean. So essentially what we've just been talking about is the bit of wall behind where my said window is going to be is really, really jagged, and the window, like the setback is like 250mm, 200mm. Now you're not going to want that all completely filled, so you're probably going to be looking at 150mm for the actual printed mould bit that I want to do. Now some of the rock depths go a lot more than that, so what we need to do, well, what he's asking me is, do you want that to be the bit that you print? Ideally I do. So when it does become like an STL or a mesh file, it's like it needs flattening a little bit, so it is still the same from the front, but it's not quite so deep. Scanning Derek. Did you put on a text message scanning Derek, did you?
I think I've provided that for clarity, yeah.
Yeah, because I put you in my phone as scanning Derek.
That's fine.
And then you sent me a text and I'm like, scanning Derek? I called him scanning Derek, it's his face on it or whatever.
So you met at Maker Central, is that right?
Yeah.
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 And then they said, we want to come and scan your hole.
And you were like, what?
Okay, this is all going really well, but this video does have a sponsor, and I've got to get it in the first 5 to 7 minutes, so here we go. It's December, which for a lot of us means Christmas, and that means Christmas shopping, and of course a lot of us do that online nowadays, which of course means constantly being asked to set up accounts, sign up for newsletters, etc. And even though you might not tick those boxes, just being online leaves a trail of data which can be sold onto data brokers to use however they wish. So Incogni, the sponsor of this video, is a service which scans all the data brokers for your information and gets it removed. Now, I signed up just under a year ago and it found 46 brokers with my information, and since then it's found another 46, and it has gotten rid of my information off 85 of them. Now, if I'd have tried to do this myself, which I have no idea how to do, it would have took me around 63 hours worth of work. I haven't got that sort of time. But why is this any good? 3 reasons. Cold calls, spam emails, and junk mail. I hate getting cold phone calls, ringing me up, asking me about PPI or diesel claims. You might not even have a car and you'll still get them. And then who hates spam emails saying you've won something you've never entered? Now, since I've had Incogni, I've noticed a real drop-off in all of these, and you can add up to 3 email addresses to the one account. And there are further friends and family plans available to protect all your loved ones. And with Christmas just weeks away, the safety of your personal information is more important than any other time of the year. So, take your personal data back with Incogni, use the code TOOMUCH at the link in the description, and get 60% off an annual plan.
Yeah, a laser in there, fires at the mirror spins round, and then it sends off like laser measurements. Couple of million a second.
2 million a second.
2 million laser measurements a second.
Good for about 2 million.
400 metres now, this one's being upgraded, so 400 metre range. And then once it's done that, then it takes pictures, so it then colours in those laser dots.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be using today. That's the one they use for doing all sorts of alignment of machines in factories and stuff.
Right.
And then the other one, which we'll have a play with today, but it'll be more the final thing, is this. So this is 640,000 measurements a second.
Oh look, this is your
Like a gyro thing.
thingy.
That spins.
Yeah.
That spins.
Yeah,
That takes photos.
yeah.
And then
It does the same as that, but
But you're holding it.
put your on.
And they're all linked to Skynet.
Yeah.
So when the Terminators come and we're hiding
It
down
knows
there,
exactly where to send the
it
missile.
knows, yeah, it can
To the middle.
ricochet a bullet round the tunnel and to smack me in the chair.
That's when
and
you need to
blue.
get an Alsatian just to know when they're coming, just to bark at the
Sense
door.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, but that one's a tunnelling thing, so that
Right.
one you can put it upside down. We've used this on a rope. We've
Oh, I
used
see. You can be a bit more versatile with
Yeah,
that sort
yeah.
of
So
thing.
that one, you
That
know,
one can't move while it's scanning.
Oh, I see.
But you can imagine this one takes the time it takes you to walk around something to copy it.
Yeah.
That one a bit slower but more accurate. So there's always this compromise going on between speed and accuracy.
Cool. Okay, so they're doing 3 scanning methods today. They're doing the static scan, where they put these scanners on tripods and they just map the place. And there's like a mobile one, which is one that you hold and then you walk around the whole place. That's good for doing like the whole tunnel. And then they're doing this other thing with pictures, which is what they're going to do in a minute. You'll see. So he's setting the lights up now, so they can take pictures of it. And this is basically for the colour. So they can, what they 3D scan, they can then apply the colour and the image to it, I think. I think that's right. So that's what I thought he was doing, but actually they're going to take loads of 2D pictures to generate a 3D image. So you're doing pictures first, we're not scanning yet, we're just taking pictures?
No.
Or are we scanning now?
So this technique with the photo camera is called photogrammetry. It basically says, I know what size sensor the image is landing on.
Yeah.
I know what lens I'm going through. It picks all that up from the photo.
Yeah.
And then it finds some key points in the photo, and then it does some mad maths to just basically work out where all the photos are taken from, and then just builds a 3D model from it.
Okay, so to try and explain photogrammetry again, if you can imagine this image that you're seeing here, this point of the box here, 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 and here, and here, here, they're all a certain distance apart, aren't they? Whereas, of course, if you move the camera, I'll move myself technically, went over here, they all sort of change, but the camera knows it's moved and it knows everything else, and it kind of does the weird maths to work out, well, if I'm over here now, and then of course there won't just be these points, there'll be millions of points all over the photo, and it kind of knows, well, if that's moved by that much and that moves by that much, then that could technically be a certain distance. And of course, once it gets another one, like these nearly disappeared now, it probably needs, 3 or 4 minimum to work out what a square or a box is. Unbelievable. Witchcraft, I say. Have you got to go up another level after this?
Probably, yeah.
This was my birthday present from me, this was. We had an electrician accidentally leave one behind. It was a little bit smaller than that. And he come to pick it up about 2 months later, and we were quite sad to see it go. So we thought, we'll get ourselves one of them.
Well, this is a Costco finest range, isn't it? This
Since Middle Isle of Lidl, probably now. We should probably introduce, this is Scanning Derek, as he's known in my phone. What's your company called? It's not called Scanning Derek, is it?
No, it's Twin DL, which I wish I hadn't called it that in the end, because now we go Twindle. It's not like with it. Twin, digital twin copy, and then DL, self-indulgent, Derek Lawrence.
Derek Lawrence.
Yeah. Somebody said, why don't you call it Scan DL?
Scandal.
Perhaps that's a second channel name.
Trying to think of something stupid now. Scantily clad. Right, guys, here's a challenge for you. Better name for Scanning Derek's company. So he scans.
No, I'm doing Derek. Whatever you come up with, I'm not doing it. I've just about sorted my bank account, so they're all my invoices now.
He says he's not doing it.
I can't change the
But
name.
if you lot come up with some absolute gems, we might force his hand, right we?
We change it. It's hard work. But you're right.
Is there any other words for scan that we could lean into? Map?
Right, so all those little white dots, that's where we took the photos.
Yeah.
So you can see like that. And then the image in the background is your wall.
Ooh,
and so those, when I was talking about where in the photo it's found loads of features, so a wall, this rock wall is photogrammetry heaven. Loads of features, loads of information in that for it to snap onto. So it can create this really dense, essentially this is the it's the initial model of the point cloud. So what it will do now is it will go through a more intensive process and essentially mesh all these points together and create a mesh, and then it will take the photos and stick it on that mesh.
So that's only like
That's a lightweight preview.
This is a lightweight preview.
But
But you can see it's figured out where all the camera locations were.
has it missed any?
It hasn't. It's got every single one. Yeah. So it's got every single thing. So we can do a quick mesh, so like a preview mesh. So this will essentially just join all these dots up. The more intense one will actually go through and find a lot more features and build a much more dense mesh. But this is just a preview mesh just to get an idea, but it's relatively quick.
And this is actually free software, which you said is by Epic. This is the people that make Fortnite. Because essentially Fortnite want everyone's digital 3D information.
That is what you think.
We can
I'm
run
sure
round.
I'm sure that is not the reason for doing
I
it.
don't know what to think about this.
But that's the preview mesh. That's the very worst version of
That
the
looks
model.
like a snowy environment, that does.
Yeah, so it hasn't textured it yet. So that's
right.
just created the 3D geometry.
Okay, so obviously on the laptop it was only generating like the light preview. I have the finished version here, and this is crazy that this has been generated just from photos. I actually find this quite freaky, really, that just from pictures you can get a 3D image. Because technically, could you like scroll through someone's Instagram pictures and build like a 3D picture of wherever all those pictures are from, you know, like someone's house or whatever? We live in scary times. But anyway, look at this. Looks good. And obviously we can use this and the other stuff that we scan to kind of make like the STL mesh image, which can then be put into a 3D printer, printed out. We've got all the information we need, basically.
So the insane thing with this is you can do a city. So you can model a city. So you can fly over a city in a helicopter or whatever. You can get closer with a drone, and then you can start taking photos of your house, and then you can come down and take individual pebbles of this wall. And so you can go from city scale and zoom, keep on. It's like infinite zoom. You can just zoom all the way down to almost the grain of the rock. It's really neat.
And some of the more advanced software of this. So if you're doing like drone photos, you can launch the drone, get it to fly around. It'll produce a model, and then it'll say, "I'm lacking detail in this area. Why don't I go and get those extra photos for you?" And it'll tell the drone the coordinates of where to take the pictures from to get the additional information.
We're so screwed. I can't stop thinking.
No. Solar flare, and then everyone will be like, "Colin, can you just help us with that? Because we've got solar flare, and then the computer."
No, this will work. Well, that's the thing, you see. And maybe that's what killed the Terminator. Because I always think, like with Terminator, they want to kill all the humans. Like, what happens when it kills the last human? Do they all just go?
Well, we're done now. What are we going to do?
They don't need to do any farming, do they?
No, they start.
Like
they start growing some humans to kill.
You just got these robots
You'd
just
be growing
standing
humans
around.
like pheasants, breeding them to shoot. It's the
Dark.
That's in Black Mirror. That'll be covered in Black Mirror.
And in that.
So what do you think a Terminator does, or the Terminators do, when they kill the last human? I think it's a valid question.
So that is now scanning,
Right.
and then somewhere in here,
Alright,
it's starting to build a preview of what it is. So if you pick it up now, so you can sort of pick it up right here.
Yeah.
The laser's going forward, so basically if you just, bear that in mind. So if you walk around now...
I'm going to scan Charlotte.
Just take a walk around.
No, I want to scan Charlotte. Because she's in front of me. Yeah, why wouldn't you? Keep still. Keep still.
Keep still, Charlotte. You're a digital copy now.
Do you want to zoom in?
Is this just in case the robots all kill everyone and we need to recreate Charlotte?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feed
Yeah!
I feed him.
She feeds me.
So as you'll see, Charlotte, Colin's done a merry dance around you now, but it shows you where the scanner's been, so you can see the trajectory of the scanner.
So if we zoom in,
you're not going to see a perfect replica of Charlotte. This is a low-res preview.
Low-res Charlotte.
Low-res Charlotte.
Right.
Yeah, basically. So if you walk around now,
Yeah.
it's meant to be operated sort of at walking pace.
I'm going to say, do I try not to move it too fast? If you
No, you can literally. I mean, you can put this thing on a car and drive with it on if you want to. So if you, I'll take a walk along the front of the wall.
And I suppose you want to get in all the.
Yeah, I wouldn't go too close to the wall. Right? This is sort of the optimum size of object for this is a building.
Yeah.
It's a bit too. There's not enough resolution and precision in the measurement to do an object. But yeah, you could literally walk around the whole of this room and the whole of your basement area, and then it would copy that. We've still got him.
Yeah.
You see, it's starting to.
Oh, it's great.
There's bolts on the top as well.
That's what I was wondering.
I wonder if there's bolts on the top as well. Can you build a carpet, Matt?
Well, it's best I can.
Yeah, I can't really.
the person that's scanning is
managed
managing
to
it.
done it, innit?
Look, yeah. Now look, here, Matt.
Look at this, look.
You're gonna have a go at climbing up a ladder with it.
Oh, easy. I'm used to going up this one-handed. And you put your shoulder on there.
Oh, it's not. I always had that as a parallel. It's not, is it?
No.
All right.
Yeah. Keep going. Have a little wander around outside now. I'm going to follow you.
Okay, now it's kind of generating like an image or a scan as I'm going along, and that's what I've been sort of like overlaying over the video, but wait till you see the finished version.
So the range of this, by the way, is about 120-ish metres.
Right.
So it's spitting out 600 and odd thousand measurements that are accurate to, I don't know, plus or minus 10 mil, say, over 120 odd metres. So the chances of missing something are slim.
Yeah.
Which is why it's useful, because then you sort of go, well, that's exactly why you use this. If you want to get context to like a space, then you just walk around with this. And as you can see, you need to be doing this for years to really master it.
Yeah.
I'm here now, but that's, your house is there, and then we walk down the garden, and that's the whole bunker. all
Yeah,
mapped
it's
out.
totally mapped it out.
It's sort of just,
The tunnel is built for Colin's height, isn't it?
it is. It's a bit inconsiderate, that.
It's a bit...
Right. Now we're going to put it back on that bit of
Back
metal
onto that
then.
bit of, yeah.
Look at the blooming worm mud, look. Blooming worm mud everywhere. Okay, so now you have to take the scanner back to where it started to like help it home it and kind of zero itself. I don't know, I'm just doing what I'm told. And then we'll set it back down on the corner there, which is its now new home.
Stop.
Stop.
Do you want to
scanning.
stop?
Yeah, stop scanning.
Yeah. And that's it.
I'll take my handbag off. It's 12:27. I thought I was getting hungry.
Yeah.
No.
But that tunnel, that bit,
Yeah.
is not the same. It's a different angle. That bit.
Yes.
It goes off at an
Because if you look at my
angle. You can see this.
my plot,
Yeah.
as so to speak,
Our
the
boundary,
garage
yeah.
and my shed is on a different line
Yeah.
to the house. Because
Yeah.
the garage and the shed go along the boundary,
Yeah.
whereas the house is slightly skewed with.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see once we can zoom
Yeah, there
in.
we go. So you can see where the tunnel is now. I mean, in its crudest format, you can see where the tunnel is in relation to the boundary.
Oh, look, this is the bit I'm more interested in though, is how straight I got it. Is that the edge of the house?
That's the edge of the house, yeah.
Where's the edge? And there's the edge of the tunnel.
Yeah, yeah. And there's where you go up into the kitchen there.
It's not bad.
You got close to the boundary there, didn't you?
Where's that? Where?
Just there, in that little bit of the corner.
No, that's the corner of the garage. That's
Oh,
not
yes,
the
it is.
boundary.
Yeah,
boundary's
of course,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, boundary's there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a mess in the corner of the shed. Oh look, the tree of trees, look, is nearly dead. The centre of the tree of trees is absolutely in line with the edge of the bunker.
Yeah.
Worms, bits, a couple of worms, some worm mud.
I didn't know you got an issue with wormwood.
I mean, it's like mole mud, it's good mud.
I don't know any molewood and wormwood.
Mole mud and worm mud's quality mud, isn't it? Because it's like filtered mud, really, isn't it? Like the worms have eaten it, they've filtered all the stones and stuff out
The
of
mole
it.
hasn't eaten it.
No, it's moved
It's dug it up and it's all like
and pushed
filtered.
it all up.
There's a worm's it.
But if you always look at mole mud, it's
Yeah.
always just soil, isn't it? Doesn't matter how
Beautiful
rocks
top
or
soil. Yeah, yeah,
anything
yeah,
it is,
yeah.
it's always just soil.
Yeah, there's no rocks or anything
Yeah,
like
so
that.
it's nearly like the mole goes, bit of soil, put that up there.
Yeah.
Rock, nah.
Do you think they feel underappreciated for what
I
they
think
do?
they do.
Do you think they're doing that and they go, they don't understand, they're trying to kill me?
Whereas they'll think the
But,
worms, the mud has gone through the worms, isn't it? Because it's,
I
like, it's
wanna
all
say-
in little swirls, isn't
I
it?
want to
As if
say
they-
yes. Do
Yeah, I've no idea.
No, I don't know. I don't know, by the way, if everyone's laughing and goes, yeah, worms
don't know
eat
either,
the
there's
mud.
two people.
I'm not sure, but the worm
Ian,
mud
do you
always
know?
seems to be in a
Limited.
like a squirrely poo.
He won't know, he's eating limited.
Yeah, it's aerated, isn't it?
Yeah, but do the worms
Do the
eat-
worms eat it and pass it through? Because a worm mud always looks like a little funny, like a little squirrely spaghetti poo, whereas mole mud clearly is just get out of the way.
Well, do you know? Yeah, I don't.
I don't think he knows.
David Attenborough, if you are watching.
I think they eat it and crap it out the back.
Yeah. So as well as Derek's new company name, do worms eat the mud and poo it out?
Limited.
Or do they just, and then spit it? I don't know.
Because they haven't got hands to push it up, have
They
they?
don't, Charlotte. They don't have hands.
Do you know what I mean? So how,
Oh, no, don't they?
how would they get it up there
They
otherwise?
haven't got hands.
So, you know.
Right, you put that in the computer, and I think we have something to eat.
So it looks like a photo, and then you start moving it, and it's 3D.
All that from photos, eh? That's crazy.
So that's not too bad.
I think that's very good, Ian Limited. Okay, so everything has been scanned. Thank you to Scanning Derek and Ian Limited. If you guys want anything scanning, their links and everything, they're all in the description. Thank you very much for them to come out. Now, they are going to come out again because everything at the moment is a little bit messy. But what does it look like, what they've done? Well, it looks like this. Now, I could watch this all day long. This just looks absolutely fantastic. Seeing where everything is in conjunction with the house, the garden and everything. And then obviously when it kind of swoops round underneath it, so you're nearly looking up and you can see the bunker and the tunnel system in the same shot. That blows my mind. Now, like I said, we are going to do this again at some point because obviously we're in the building phase at the moment of the garage, and obviously it's not finished. There's like sheets of wood and stuff up against the walls, and of course it's scanned all that. It's kind of scanned all my mess as well. So I'm going to do it again once the whole thing's finished, and it obviously looks a lot tidier and a lot cleaner. And then we can, because it would just be better, wouldn't it, if it's not a blooming mess, Colin. Now, one of the useful things that we've found out from this is the difference in height between the bottom of the bunker and the bottom of the tunnel. I think we roughly guessed it as about 700 mil. Well, it turns out, according to the scanner, it's exactly 625 mil. So when the tunnel goes down here and goes along, it's pretty much to the end of this wall here at the minute. As soon as it literally goes into the garden, it's got to drop down and then meet the level of what the bunker will be before it heads off down the garden. Because if I keep going level here, then obviously the tunnel will get closer and closer to the surface. And I don't surface, Colin. And I don't want it to drop down at the end. I want it to drop down just there. But anyway, we don't need to worry about that now. So, it's all been scanned. The rock wall, essentially as I'm looking at it, I want it 3D printing out. So, remember what I said at the beginning? If you own a company that can do massive 3D prints, if you can 3D print in colour, so it can actually be printed how it looks, because I know obviously 3D printers every week get better and better. So, if you can do it big and in colour, that's just brilliant. If you can't, if there's anyone now like a set designer or something who can, kind of use the 3D printers like a mould that can then paint it, spray it or whatever, I'm putting that over to you guys, because once I've built this recess, I want to be able to set something in that is hopefully the exact bit of rock that sits behind it. So as I'm looking at it now, if you can imagine that just with what it is, so it's, a perfect representation of what is actually behind the concrete. That would be fantastic. Right, what are we doing now? So that was actually last week. There's a little bit more progress. I'm hoping before the Christmas break we get the wall up and stuff at the end so we can start getting some concrete behind it, because the last thing I want is a wall half up and then bits dropping down, because obviously if you get any bits of rock drop off down the back of the wall, you can't get down there very to tidy it up. So we want to kind of build that bit up quick and then get Chris Bibby back and then start filling it back up. So that's the plan. You might get another video on this channel before the end of the year, in between Christmas and New Year, the old Crimbo Limbo. But we'll see. So if not, I'll see you in 2025, second channel people. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for sticking around and watching these long videos where I go on about the Terminator and stuff. It's all good. Hello. Oh yeah, and if you don't get these today or tomorrow, you probably won't be able to get them at all.